Dear students, in this talk, we are going to study magnetic fields, properties of magnetic fields. In electrostatics, we learned properties of electric fields through Coulomb's law, through Gauss law. We understood electric fields act along the position vector joining between the two vectors. Electric fields possess divergence. Now you are seeing another type of vector, another type of force called as magnetic field. We will see the properties of magnetic fields. In magnetostatics, we are going to study how magnetic field is produced by steady currents. If you see a bar magnet, we plot its magnetic field from north pole to south pole. This is how the magnetic field lines are directed. Take a coil, solenoid. When current is passed through the solenoid, the magnetic field produced is quite similar to bar magnet, like this. Now look at the earth. Magnetic field is from north pole to south pole, similar to this. All three problems look equivalent. How is magnetic field produced in nature? The fundamental process involved is flow of current produces magnetic field. Let us imagine a steady current I flowing through a conductor. Right? According to right hand thumb rule, if thumb represents the direction of the current, the magnetic field curls around this. So direction of magnetic field will be represented like this. Correct? This is magnetic field. What is the magnitude of the magnetic field here? Here, how does it vary with distance? What are the factors which affect magnetic field? Biot and Savartz gave us a law. The law relates magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor with the magnitude of the magnetic field, with the direction of the magnetic field. Now, let I be the current passing through a conductor. Let us imagine dl, a small current element. Okay? I want to know magnetic flux density at point P due to small current element dl. Let us join this point with the current element like this. Okay? This is the position vector R joining the point P with the current element. Let the angle made by the position vector with the direction of the current is theta. Now Biot-Savart's law says magnetic flux density at a point due to a current carrying conductor is equal to, in scalar terms, mu by 4 pi IDL sin theta by r square Tesla or Weber per meter square. This is in vector form. This does not say anything about direction of the magnetic field. Now I will write the vector form of this. Vector form gives us both magnitude and direction. That is the advantage with vectors. See here, magnetic flux density at point P due to a current element is given by mu by 4 pi. See here, I into dl cross r, unit vector r, along the direction of the position vector by magnitude of the vector square, so many Tesla. This is the vector form of Biot-Savart's law. What does it say? Look at this now. Magnetic field here is perpendicular to both the dl and r. You know, cross product A cross B is perpendicular to both A and B. So what is the direction of magnetic field here? Look at right hand thumb rule. The magnetic field is flowing into this. So we write cross mark. Suppose if the current is flowing like this, then we write dot. Okay? It is coming towards you. Now, what do we understand from this? See here, magnetic field is directly proportional to magnitude of current, length of the current element, and inversely proportional to square of the distance. Suppose if you remove this cross product, you can write mu by 4 pi I dl sin theta. Magnitude of dl, magnitude of unit vector is 1 into sin theta by cross product by r square. Correct? So Biot-Savart's law state, what is the statement of the Biot-Savart's law? It states that magnetic flux density at a point due to a current element is directly proportional to magnitude of the current. directly proportional to length of the current element, directly proportional to sine of the angle between position vector to the point and the current direction, and inversely proportional to square of the separation distance. This law is very important as it relates current and magnetic field. Let us do an experiment and understand this. I have a coil here, see here, right? With large number of turns, I have a bar magnet. This is battery. Now, this is not carrying current. When I take magnet close to this, see here, there is no interaction. Now I'll pass current through this. When you are doing this experiment, ensure battery is new. Okay? With old batteries, this may not give you enough effect as the current will be less. Now see, current is flowing through the coil. I'll take magnet close to it. See here, attraction. Do you see this? Now I'll change the phase, it should repel. See here, it is repelling. Correct? So now I want to know, using Biot-Savart's law, can we calculate what is the current magnetic field at the center of the circular coil due to this flow of current? What is the magnetic field along the axis of the circular coil? We'll do that now. We'll find the expression for magnetic field on the axis of the circular coil, at the center of the circular coil. Imagine this is the circular coil carrying current I. Let the radius be R. Using Biot-Savart's law, we can show that magnetic flux density at the center is given by mu permeability constant. Mu is permeability. What is the value of mu? 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 farad per meter. In electrostatics, we had epsilon naught, epsilon r, permittivity of free space, relative permittivity. Here this is mu naught, permeability constant mu naught into relative permeability. It represents the ease with which material gets magnetized. Okay? Mu n is number of turns, I current by 2r. What is the magnetic field along the axis of the circular coil due to a small current element? B along the axis at a distance x is mu ni r square by 2 into r square plus x square to the power of 2 by 2. You are verifying this law in the lab, in physics lab experiment, verification of Biot-Savart's law. You are checking whether B is inversely proportional to 3 r square plus x square to the power of 3 by 2. Correct? So remember these expressions, it is important to solve numericals. Like Biot-Savart's law, we have Ampere's law, which relates current and magnetic field. Suppose if this is the current, here if I is the current, B is magnetic field. Ampere's law states that here line integral of magnetic field around the closed path. Let dl be the small element on this field. Okay, line integral of B along the closed path is equal to mu times permeability constant times current passing through the surface enclosing the path, enclosed by the path. Do you understand? The current is piercing through the surface. Please understand this. This is Ampere's law. It looks like Gauss law of electrostatics. See here, current piercing through the surface. Do you see similarity with Gauss law? Right hand side Gauss law, total flux is equal to total charge enclosed. Here, total current passing through the surface. Suppose if I take B dot dl around this closed path, then line integral of magnetic flux density around a closed path is equal to mu times current enclosed or piercing through the surface. Suppose you want to represent, this is magnetic flux density, okay? Suppose you want to represent it through H, magnetic field intensity, okay? If you want to represent through magnetic field intensity, then how do you write it? H dot dl is equal to I, because B is equal to mu into H, correct? So these two are same. Now look at this. In integral form, how do we write it? Line integral of magnetic field intensity around a closed path is equal to current passing through the surface bounded by the closed path. This is Ampere's law. Please remember this. Ampere's law has an inadequacy. Maxwell observed that this law is applicable for steady currents only. Suppose if the current is oscillating, changing with time, this law has to be modified. It is this correction which led to modified Ampere's law, which led to creation of electromagnetic wave theory, wave equation, antennas, radio communication. Okay, so Ampere's law is given by this. Very easy to remember. Remember that. After this, and now I am introducing you one more very important law of Faraday. Faraday's law. Okay. What is Faraday's law? Generator. Faraday conducted an experiment. See here, I have a coil, loop of coil here, 20,000 turns. Here is a magnet, right? Do you see the coil wire, 20,000 turns? The two ends of the coil are connected to a bulb here, LED bulb, okay? You know what Faraday thought? Yes, Faraday was 8th standard school dropout. He conducted an experiment which nobody else had done. He tried to relate magnetic field and current. He brought the coil of wire with close to the magnet. He saw an EMF induced in the coil when magnetic flux linking with the coil changes. Look at this, when magnetic field changes, you see an EMF. Do you see that? Correct? Whenever there is a relative motion between the coil and magnet, see this, you get EMF induced. Now I'll keep the magnet at rest, coil will be moved. You see the bulb glowing, see here? Correct? When both of them are moving in opposite direction, you get EMF produced. When there is no relative motion, no EMF. So Faraday gave us generators and breakthrough in electrical engineering. So what is Faraday's law? See here, an EMF is induced in a conductor due to the rate of change of magnetic flux linking with the coil. This is Faraday's law. And voltage is induced in a coil due to rate of change of magnetic flux linking with the coil. Now, please see this. How do you represent voltage? You know, in electrostatics, voltage is E dot dl, work done, correct? This is equal to rate of change of magnetic flux. Now see here, what is flux? Flux is flux density by unit area into total area, correct? It is similar to D in electrostatics. What is D? Flux per unit area. What is B? Flux density, magnetic. This is electric flux per unit area. B is magnetic flux per unit area, correct? Therefore, flux can be, phi can be written as B into area ds. So now I write it here. Therefore, it is double integral of dou B, this partial derivative, dou B by dou T into ds. Do you see this? This is Faraday's law. Left hand side EMF induced, right hand side rate of change of total flux. B dot ds is total flux. Do you understand? This can be written using Stokes theorem in a different way. We can arrive at differential form of Gauss law. Faraday's law. This is integral form of Faraday's law. Now I'll apply Stokes theorem. What is Stokes theorem? Curl of a vector over a surface is equal to line integral of the vector around the path enclosing the surface. So now what can I substitute here? Therefore, LHS of Faraday's law becomes del cross E ds is equal to rate of change of magnetic flux. Now from these to observe this, what can we write? We can write from these two expressions here, compare this and this. What can you write? Faraday's law will be given now. See here, this is surface integral, this is also surface integral, therefore del cross E is equal to, and please remember EMF induced will always be in a direction so as to oppose the very cause which produces it, Lenz's law. So we have to include minus sign here, correct? Lenz's law states that the EMF induced in a conductor due to changing magnetic flux always opposes the very cause which produces it. So minus of dou V by dou T. This is called as differential form of Faraday's law. See this? Differential form of Faraday's law. This is integral form. Left hand side voltage induced, right hand side rate of change of flux. Now let us write all the expressions we studied here, and I will show you now which is the second and third Maxwell's equation. In electrostatics we showed Gauss law, del dot D is equal to rho, first Maxwell's equation. What is the integral form of this? Total flux is equal to charge enclosed. Now Ampere's law. Before that, we all know that since magnetic flux forms closed loops, what is divergence of magnetic flux? Zero. There is no net quantity going out of a closed surface. Suppose you have a magnet here, magnetic flux lines start from north to south. Okay? Imagine a closed surface enclosing this. Correct? You will see if X number of lines go out of the surface, X number of lines coming into the surface. So number of flux lines going out of the surface is equal to number of flux lines entering the surface. This is not true with electrostatics. Positive charge is always giving out electric flux. Negative charge, convergence of electric flux. But here, since magnetic dipoles exist together, they cannot be separated. Any surface, if you imagine, number of flux lines going out of the surface is equal to number of flux lines entering the surface, so divergence is zero. But in electrostatics, divergence is equal to rho. This shows electric charges remain isolated. Positive and negative charges exist in separated form. They don't occur in pairs. Correct? But in magnetic field, north and south pole are always together. So total flux lines from a closed surface will always be zero. This is called as Gauss law of magnetostatics. This is Gauss law of electrostatics. Correct? This is Gauss law of magnetostatics. Next, Ampere's law. Look at this. B dot dl is equal to mu into I. This is integral form. In integral form, the laws are easy to understand. B dot dl is equal to mu into I. Suppose I want to write the same Ampere's law in vector form. How can I write it? Sorry, differential form. In differential form, Ampere's law is written like this here. Del cross B ds. I am applying Stokes theorem. Line integral of a vector around a path is equal to surface integral of the vector over the surface enclosing this, bounded by this path. Right hand side, mu into I. Mu into I can be written as here current per unit area into ds. Correct? Same Ampere's law. I is what? Because J is equal to current per unit area. So I is J into ds, like surface integral. So from this I can write del cross B is equal to mu J. This is differential form of Ampere's law. Differential form of Ampere's law. Correct? So now we listed three equations: Gauss law of electrostatics, Gauss law of magnetostatics, Ampere's law. Now I'll show you the fourth equation. This is Faraday's law. This is the fourth Maxwell's equation in differential form. Okay? First Maxwell equation, second Maxwell equation, third Maxwell equation, fourth equation. What is integral form of Faraday's law? We just have learned E dot dl is equal to, see this, minus dou v by dou t into ds. EMF induced in a coil due to change in flux is equal to rate of change of magnetic flux linking with the coil. Minus sign shows Lenz's law. The EMF induced is always opposes the cause which produces it. So total you have four equations, both in differential form, integral form. You must know it, practice it, and in next class I am going to discuss how Maxwell corrected this Ampere's law. This is now called as Ampere's law. After correcting this, Maxwell arrived at what is called as displacement currents. Through displacement currents, he showed how electromagnetic waves can be produced by oscillating charges. He wrote these equations in 1865. Hertz developed the first antenna to demonstrate production of electromagnetic waves due to oscillation of charges. In 1897, Indian scientist J.C. Bose practically demonstrated microwave communication. He exploded an explosive through microwaves without any wire connecting. Finally, in 1900, Marconi used all this data and developed the first device to transmit electromagnetic waves or communication. He made the radio. So Maxwell found this equation inadequate for AC currents. For steady currents, this is alright. For AC currents, this has a limitation. So we are going to study how Ampere's law is modified. So finally, I will summarize the four equations in differential form and integral form. Gauss, first Maxwell equation, del dot D is equal to rho, Gauss law of electrostatics. Second Maxwell equation, Gauss law of magnetostatics. Divergence of magnetic flux density is zero, whereas divergence of electric flux density is non-zero. Current, this is volume charge density. This shows magnetic field lines form closed loops. If you imagine a surface enclosing a magnetic distribution, number of flux lines going out of the surface is equal to number of flux lines entering. Third, Ampere's law, del cross B is equal to mu into J. Fourth, Faraday's law, del cross E is equal to minus dou B by dou T. Correct? In differential form. This problem, in differential form, they don't look friendly. In integral form, see here, total flux D dot ds is what? Flux per unit area into total area. Total flux is equal to total charge enclosed. In magnetostatics, total flux from a closed surface is equal to 0 because number of flux lines entering is equal to number of flux lines going out. Always magnetic flux lines from a closed loop. Suppose if you have a circle, you don't know where is the beginning, where is the end, right? So here, how do we write it? What is the B dot dl is equal to mu into I. Like this is integral form of Ampere's law here. E dot dl is equal to minus dou B by dou T into ds. Correct? I can be written as current densities here, mu into double integral J ds. Correct? So these four equations, please practice it. We will see how Maxwell modified Ampere's law.